Hi everyone, welcome to this module on instance metadata and lifecycle. So instance metadata includes things like instance OSID, name, OSID is the unique identifier, name, compartment, shape, region, availability domain, and all the values you would attribute with the instance. You can also have custom metadata such as an SSH public key as part of instance metadata. Now, instance metadata runs on every instance and is an HTTP endpoint listening at this particular IP address 169.254, 169.254. Really simple to remember. You can get instance metadata by logging into the instance and using the metadata service side. That's a very simple way to use. And there are some commands I've listed here, right? Pretty straightforward commands where you can get all the metadata, or you could get specific metadata values. Now you can also add and update custom metadata for an instance using the SDK or the CLI. So let me quickly jump to the instance, and we have been running a bunch of things. This is my instance where we were doing some auto scaling. So if I just clear my screen and I run my instance metadata, you can see here that I just did a curl to this particular IP address, 169.254, 169.254, and I'm trying to get all the metadata respective of the values which are stored. So I can see that it's in AD1 availability domain. I can see the for domain, compartment ID, display name, image, so on and so forth, right? Everything which is on the instance, I can get here. I can also get the public portion of the SSH key, and all the values. Now I can also update a few values if I want to, using the CLI or the SDK. So it's pretty straightforward, like with any other cloud provider. Now there are a couple of things you need to know on the instance lifecycle. Starting an instance, if a stopped instance is there, of course you start. Stop meaning you shut down the instance, uh, and after the instance is shut down, you can start it again. Reboot does the same thing, shuts down the instance and then restarts it, and sort of combines, start and stop and start. Um, Terminate is permanently deleting the instance you no longer need. There are a couple of things to keep in mind. When you terminate an instance, the public and the private IP address are released, and some other instance might, are available for other instances to use both public and private IP. The boot volume, you have an option to permanently delete the boot volume. However, you can preserve the boot volume and attach it to a different instance as a data volume, or use it to launch a new instance. Launch a new instance, pretty straightforward. We looked into this earlier. You have a boot volume, you could make changes, and then you can launch other instances using that boot volume. You would attach it as a data volume to other instances for troubleshooting. This comes up in the exam. How do you troubleshoot an instance failing to boot or some issues with the boot volume? You could attach it as a data volume to another instance and you could use it to troubleshoot. Uh, what happens when you do the billing, whether you stop or start, right? So for standard shapes, the billing pauses in a stop state. Standard shapes have no local storage, everything is block. So if you stop an instance, basically you are sort of deprovisioning the compute. Your block is all on a remote storage, so you preserve that. You don't pay anything, right? Because your billing stops. Dense IO have lots of local storage, depending on whether you're using a VM or a bare metal, and the billing continues even in the stop state, right? Even if you stop it, you're still paying for those shapes. GPU shapes, again, billing continues, and then HPC shapes, again, the billing continues even in a stop state. So this was a rather quick module. We talked about instance metadata, we talked about instance lifecycle. Hopefully you like the lecture series on the OCI compute service. If Thank you for watching this lecture series. If you have time, please join me in the next lecture series where we talked about the various storage services available on the OCI platform. Thank you.